Once again, we find ourselves in the city of brotherly love. The Bruins of UCLA have traveled cross-country and have reached the semifinals of the Collegiate Rugby Championship. But their neighbors to the north, the Cal Bears, are the defending champions and have designs of bringing another title in sevens back to Berkeley.
Sunday is rough.
You question getting up.
This is awful. My body feels terrible. What am I doing to myself?
I shouldn't have played these first 2 days if this isn't what I trained for.
I don't think I'm going to stand up. Like, you just think you're going to get out of bed and just fall straight down.
Everything's stiff, everything hurts.
From your head to your toes, you're in pain.
Knees hurt, your back is sore.
Kind of feels like you get hit by a car.
How am I supposed to get up again?
It's not about that, it's about the crunch time.
You know that every single one of your teammates is feeling just as bad as you are.
Your body's going to feel like crap, but that's where the mental toughness kicks in.
They're feeling that they're willing to succeed, and that just overrides all that pain.
It's the excitement, you know, that's why we came here, that's why everybody came here, is for that day 3.
This is an opportunity that very few people get.
Knowing what's at the end of the tunnel and knowing that you put in the work for a long build-up is what gets you going.
Put up or shut up.
Collegiate Rugby Championship from beautiful PPL Park on the outskirts of Philadelphia. We have reached the Final Four. Life University from Marietta, Georgia is in, as is Kutztown from just 80 miles up the road. In the other semifinal, it's a West Coast showdown between the Bruins of UCLA and the defending champion Golden Bears of Cal Berkeley. Hello once again, everyone. I'm Todd Harris. Welcome to Philadelphia and PPL Park on a beautiful afternoon. Temperatures just right for Rugby Sevens, where today we will crown a national champion. Hard to believe that it was just about a year ago when the Cal Bears came into the stadium and took down Life University to pick up the Rugby Sevens title for 2013. Jack Clark and his squad are back, and they look loaded and hungry as ever. I'm joined again by my colleague, Brian Hightower, the former captain of Team USA. Brian, after 2 grueling days of rugby, you know personally this is a tough morning to get up for.
It is day 3, always the hardest day of a tournament, but you got to ignore the knocks and pings and just get on with it. And today, the team that wins is going to be the team that just comes to play and leaves it all on the field.
We have reached the Final Four. The semis are set, but the quarterfinal action was great indeed. Cal looks fantastic.
They do, and they got some resistance. You know, there's no such thing as an easy quarterfinal, and Penn State came to play, but in the end, too much force by guys like Seamus Kelly. We see him. There's a reason why he's an All-American.
And Life University at the very end of this one to get past the Naval Academy.
Yeah, broken hearts at the Naval Academy because they had they had Life right where they wanted them, scoring one right at the end, the final. And with no time left on the clock, they managed to eke out one final try, and there was a little bit of controversy. They think this might have been a forward pass right here to Paris Hollis. He bowls his way over and scores to get Life into the semifinal.
And it's UCLA and Dartmouth. Dartmouth has won this tournament 2 times, but today it was all the Bruins.
Very similar styles between the Bruins and the Dartmouth Big Green, and in the end, there was too much UCLA. They've been playing smart rugby. In fact, the only team that's beaten Cal since last year's CRC.
And in the other quarterfinal, Kutztown minus one of their star players, taking on a very game Michigan squad.
Well, Kutztown has been really the most forceful, brutal team in this tournament. And here, it looks like Caston has gone over for Michigan for a try. He was ruled offsides. That would have been the equalizer. Instead, Kutztown, via a try from Niku Kruger, slices the Michigan defense and rolls forward to put Kutztown out in front. Too much to go.
So here's a look at the Final Four. Cal and UCLA in one semifinal, Life and Kutztown in the other for a right to battle for the championship. Right now, we check in with the third member of our broadcast team. Here's Marty Snyder.
Well, Todd, Grant Penny is one of the stars for UCLA. They take on Cal coming up in a moment, as you mentioned, in the semifinals. Grant, for people who may have never seen Rugby Sevens, what are they about to see today? Describe the game.
Hopefully just some, fast pace, high flying stuff around the pitch. We use a lot of space. Cal likes to use a lot of space, so it should be pretty exciting.
Let's talk about the matchup with Cal. Is there any team you'd rather play and rather beat than your rivals, Cal?
Nah, man, Cal's the empire. Everybody's always trying to take them down. So, a little bit of a grudge match from last year's semi too. So I couldn't be more stoked on it.
You're the only team to beat them, and you mentioned the grudge match from last year's semifinals. Only team to beat them since then. Do you guys feel like you can honestly beat them? And if you do, can you win this entire tournament?
Yeah, if we keep possession, we're going to win this game. And we did it once in the West Coast Sevens final. We took them down, so we can do it again.
And he told me I don't need any motivation to play against Cal. I see their colors. I'm motivated, Todd.
And there's a look at the Virginia Tech locker room. We've got a little appetizer for you when we return to PPL Park. We'll have some consolation action. Plate semifinals. Virginia Tech and Northeastern. The Hokies happy to be in Philly.
The CRC is unlike any other thing in collegiate rugby. It's the best experience. It's the best tournament.
It's the best sporting event I've ever been a part of, and it's something that I never thought with collegiate rugby that I'd be able to participate in.
Like a room without a roof, 'cause I'm happy. The 2014 Collegiate Rugby Championship on NBCSN is brought to you by Subway Restaurants. Dude, if you took some white shirts and went over there, you I got issues. I got issues. I got issues. I got issues. Really surprised the Dukes didn't get past Penn State. Yeah, seriously. Look at that flyover. That's a good shot. The 2014 Collegiate Rugby Championship on NBCSN is brought to you by Subway Restaurants. Rich, creamy avocado is back at Subway. Well, if you're new to Rugby Sevens, my man Brian Hightower is going to take you through the rules just to get you ready for Championship Sunday.
Todd, it's a simple game, 7-on-7 for 7-minute halves. Can't throw the ball forward. What's not so simple is tackling the guy with the ball in front of you. He's trying to get to your goal line to push the ball down and score a try. 5 points, and then you convert that try with a conversion kick, and you get 2 points.
And before we get to those plate semifinals and the consolation action, we've got Northeastern taking on the Hokies of Virginia Tech as they get set to take the field here at PPL Park. And we check in now with Marty Snyder.
Craig Buecher's the head coach for Virginia Tech. Do you think you guys have maybe exceeded expectations coming into the CRC?
Yeah, I think we've surprised a lot of people. We've really stepped up from where we were last year, and we're playing great rugby, and that's all we can hope for.
You've emphasized the start of games. Why?
Yeah, the start is really important. It's a lot about possession. But, you know, once you can get the other team on the back foot, you know, it kind of sets the tempo for the whole game and the whole day.
Just their second CRC, Todd, and he told me last year when we were here, we realized that's where we were losing matches, not getting off to good starts. They have really impressed a lot of people here in Philly, Virginia Tech.
And Coach is dead on, right, Brian? I mean, this is a short game, 7-minute halves with the clock continuing to run. You get down early, it's pretty tough to get back.
Yes, one of the surprise teams of this tournament, based on their performance last year, not so good, and now Virginia Tech, they look real good, and the reason is because they've been playing 7 since January with this same bunch.
Really opened eyes to start this tournament on Friday. They came out and just laid it to Arizona, one of the premier teams, and Virginia Tech just shut them out in game number 1. 3 games in pool play, and then you try to reach that cup or that Elite 8, and Virginia Tech was one of the teams just on the outside, didn't have enough points to get in, so here they are in the plate semifinals.
Some great players on both sides. Keep your eyes on the ball carrier there, number 3, Chris Frazier. They're going to try to get it into his hands, and there he goes.
Frazier with the stiff arm loses the ball. Now, did he lose the ball first or step out of bounds? Either way, it's going over to Virginia Tech.
Well, playing defense on Frazier there is the man to watch for Virginia Tech. The Hokies. Andy Haskell wearing the number 5 jersey. He's been the leading try scorer on this team throughout the weekend.
Here's your first look at a line out, and we'll listen in.
5, 4, 2, 1, 7, get back.
And they overshoot the tunnel. It goes right to Northeastern. Diego Makira there to pick it up.
Big mistake back inside your own 22-meter line. You got to get that throw straight in the line out.
And this is just all about desires. Brian Eustace able to put it across for the first try of the match.
Well, Northeastern came out with a victory earlier on Friday, but was disappointed. They played poorly against Penn State yesterday. They're here to prove a point. Watch the overthrow. Diego Maquiera picks it up. And then it's simple a matter getting it into the right hands. Jason Yao with a really nice sidestep there. And into the hands of Brian Eustace for the finish.
So the conversion comes straight out from where the try was accomplished. This thing is pushed to the left, so the 2 extra points not awarded to Northeastern as Jason Yao unable to convert. That would have been a very tricky kick.
Would have been the conversion coming from where this try was scored. And watch Yao, if he hangs up a real nice kick, it's got to go 10 meters, kind of just like an onside kick in football, and then either team can play for it.
Ball only. Play on.
And Northeastern does a good job of winning their own restart, a huge part of this game.
Lost forward.
And the ball is kicked into touch by Virginia Tech.
Scrum.
Knock on first by Northeastern. It'll bring it back for a Virginia Tech scrum, and they'll have an opportunity, really their first good quality possession.
So a knock on is when you push the ball or inadvertently knock the ball forward, and it's going to be a scrum to Virginia Tech, another way to restart the game here in Rugby Sevens, and we'll let you listen under the commands.
Bind, set.
Room to run, and they got the sweeper sucked in. If you can get away, can't pull it off.
Down. Tackle off the neck.
You can't tackle around the shirt collar.
Similar to a horse collar in football.
Exactly, and so the referee brings it back, an instant penalty. The team that commits the penalty has to get back 10 meters from the mark where the penalty occurred, and you'll see teams doing that throughout the day.
So with the clock running and coming up on 3:30 to go here in half number 1 of a 7-minute half, it is Northeastern leading Virginia Tech. The Huskies in the black.
Back 10.
And number 3's on the wrong side of the ruck there, Chris Frazier, so that's another penalty going against Northeastern.
Brian, 2 schools of thoughts, and we've seen many schools come in with different setups as far as team makeup. You get the teams that come in with the big players, looks like the offensive, defensive linemen and linebackers, and then you get the teams that come in with the free safeties, flankers, and the quarterbacks, and they play on all speed. Which one, if either, works better?
Well, it's best to have a combination of both. Everybody's got to be able to run for 14 minutes and sprint around the field for the entire game, and normally it's hard for bigger men to do that. But if you can get big guys who can run and surround them with guys with speed, then it's a real lethal combo in the game of sevens.
Out of there, 6!
Good organization by the Hokies, knocking on the door, trying to get on the board. Had a man on the outside. The pass just came too slow when it's held up there.
Yeah, that pass, if that pass would have skipped out to Haskell on the wing. He would have been in for the Hokies. Instead, defense coming up quick for Northeastern.
Michael Serby getting it down inside, can't punch it across. They'll try again. Down the line they go. Again, a man on the outside. They don't get it to him, and this time the pass goes errant.
Skill so important, just getting the ball into the right hands, and the pass has to be crisp. Haskell could have been away for a try. Instead, the pass goes over his head.
Release him, tackler! Tackler, release him!
Yeah, once you make a tackle, you have to release the ball carrier and get to your feet, and that's what the referee's doing. And hey, if you're new to the game, listen to the referee. He's going to basically teach you the game while it's being played.
Almost breaking free of the Hokies, but wrangled down at about 5 meters. Now they set up a ruck. Can they punch it in here? Great defense by Northeastern at the goal line. And it's poached. Huskies take it away.
Jason Yao looking for help. Good job by the Northeastern defense. And they got numbers on the outside. Diego Macchiera's got to get the ball out. You know, he lays down a kick, but he does it for the forwards. Chris Frazier's not the fastest guy on this field, and it's basically just giving away possession again. Hokies with the ball.
So Northeastern playing field position, kick it forward, but Virginia Tech now with an opportunity to put something on the board. Something they weren't able to do moments ago. And up the middle, here goes number 5, Andy Haskell.
Well, that's a try. If there are Hokies trailing them, you got to get into those support lanes and call for the ball. But there's nobody there for the Hokies, and it makes it easy for the Northeastern defense.
Easier said than done, Brian, when you've been running for almost 6 straight minutes, running in support. But the payoff is there if you can get there. And again, Virginia Tech, no one running in support.
Well, look at the attackers from Virginia Tech. They're all flat. They need to be deeper. That ball,
and they get it across.
Block 2.
Good job by Mick Minichello. He's one of those guys we talked about earlier. If you're a big guy who can run, and Minichello has been a great finisher, kind of the battering ram type for those Hokies. And he's just short distance here, sees a little gap.
Block 2.
One of the imports for the Hokies, Minichello, coming to us by way of South Africa. He started playing when he was 5 years of age, so an advantage right off the bat. Most American kids not getting that kind of start, and the 2-point conversion is no good. So we remain at 5 even after the end of the first half here in the plate semifinals. It's a rough, tough, violent sport, but that's not the word that comes to mind when you talk to these players.
Yeah, gotcha.
The best part about rugby is the camaraderie and the relationships that you build.
Just the camaraderie that comes along with it.
Camaraderie.
Love the camaraderie.
The camaraderie among the team is
the camaraderie that comes around with the sport.
The camaraderie that you have on the field.
I love the camaraderie of rugby.
I love the violence about the sport.
He's got a defensive stand here, Brian Hightower. Just saying. You want Marty to take it out of break? Go.
7 more minutes. Hard work.
Do I have that World Cup promo? Do I have a World Cup promo? That's not the thing that... Is it the World Cup promo, just the schedule?
All right, guys, let's go. We're going to do it right now. So your death-defying driving will be a little bit...
In September of 2015, the eyes of the rugby world will turn to England as the best teams from around the globe come together to compete in the IRB Rugby World Cup. 20 nations, including defending World Cup champion New Zealand, The USA Eagles will be fighting it out on the pitch to be named the world's best. That's 2015 Rugby World Cup on Universal Sports and NBC. Also coming up, the All Blacks taking on Team USA November 1st. That one coming to us by way of Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. You won't want to miss that one. And there you see the schedule for the HSBC World Series USA Sevens. As before we get to the second half, let's check it on the field with Marty Snyder.
Well, Todd, I'm hanging out with what might be a couple of familiar faces. Michael Kendricks, linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, former Cal star and a new rugby fan, and Tana Umanga, who's a former 15s captain for the All Blacks in New Zealand. But let's start with you, Michael. You've kind of hung around the rugby program at Cal, so you knew about them, but you're impressed with what you've seen here in the 7 team, haven't you?
Oh, yes, most definitely. You know, at Cal, we always share the same facilities, so I'm familiar with the faces that are here today. And I'm just out here supporting my guys, man. You know, they play for my alma mater, and so I'm just out here showing some support.
I'm sure he's ready to suit up, too. Let's talk about this matchup we have coming up, Tana, with the U.S. team and the All Blacks. How's that going to be on November 1st?
Oh, it's going to be great. Obviously, a lot of New Zealanders are looking forward to it, and, you know, breaking new ground coming over to play here in the U.S. and being here this weekend and seeing so much talent on show. It bodes well for the future of American rugby.
How about playing at Soldier Field, though? That's going to be cool, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's got a lot of history there. I hear it's going to be cold, so we'll have to make sure that we're ready for that. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be something to get along to.
Maybe that'll be the U.S. advantage, Todd. It'll be a little chilly at Soldier Field on November 1st, but we'll all be there.
Yeah, no question about it. Thank you, Marty. And a try right off the bat to start the second half as Northeastern breaks the 5-all tie, and they push it out in front. Brian, talking a little bit as they get set for the conversion, the All Blacks coming to the U.S. is a huge deal. The All Blacks coming to the U.S. to play USA is a big deal, but in November, has anyone told the All Blacks what the weather's like in Chicago in November?
Oh, they'll be ready for it. They played in all different conditions, and I talk about an unprecedented event in the world of rugby in the United States, and it's just going to be awesome. The most iconic team of all time playing on home soil here. I think it's going to be awesome.
The best way to describe it to folks that aren't familiar with rugby, it would basically be like sending the Chicago Bulls, the Boston Celtics, the LA Lakers to another country to play, or if you brought in some team like Brazil in soccer to the U.S. to play, it's the cream of the crop.
Absolutely.
Well, here's the last try by Northeastern, and again, good spacing, but right up the gut, and Chris Frazier with one quick move and applies the downward pressure.
Yep, Frazier's one of those guys who's kind of been looked at. He's been targeted by some of the guys like Alex Magleby, looking for the next wave of U.S. national team players and potential Olympians. Just one of those guys. He's big, he's rangy, but he gets around the park rather nicely.
While we're on the subject of promoting NBC and the NBC Sports Network, you know what's coming up in 2016? The Olympics in Rio, and Rugby Sevens returns to the Olympics, which will be fantastic to see it in Rio, and Alex Magleby, one of the coaches, looking for the players that might be ready in 2 years.
Well, it's a great break there by Michael Serby, but he can't finish, in a great tackle around the shirtwaist. But finally, Matt Murray able to break over for Virginia Tech, and they answer back quickly to Northeastern's try.
So the Hokies draw even yet again as we go into 4:50 to play in this one, Brian. This is just hard running.
Yeah, and it starts from Michael Serby, but it ends well with Matt Murphy going across. And you know, sometimes if you're on a break, it's just hard for the defense to collapse and then regain its structure, and that's what happened in Northeastern. You got a lot of guys running backwards to try to reform that defensive wall.
Murray unable to kick through the extra point, 2-point conversion, so the senior out of Rockville, Maryland, will head back, and we'll reset on the kick, all even at 10 with about 4 minutes and 10 seconds to play in this one, the plate semifinal.
Sub, did we get him off and get him on? Ball back to the middle, please. John?
And as Brian Hightower pointed out, if you're not familiar with the game of rugby, we'll try to lay out as much as possible. Let him teach you as well as he works with the players.
Time's on.
Free ball.
Backwards, off block.
And I'll tell you what, Diego Macchiera has been very active today for the Huskies, but right now it's number 3, Chris Frazier, off and running. Frazier with a beautiful stiff arm. Does he have enough steam to get across? Yes, he does. And the downward pressure and the try is awarded, and this should be a very easy conversion for the Huskies.
every team has a couple of players that you just have to bottle up. Sometimes it's worth putting 2 men on 1, and Chris Frazier is that guy from Northeastern. If you don't get a good shoulder into him, you're not going to bring him down. And look at that, a swerve for the big man. He dances around Andy Haskell, and he's in for the try. That's why he's on the radar.
So Frazier at 6'3", 225, and the extra 2-point conversion is unsuccessful. How about this start, though? I mean, this is all off the kick restart. Machiera triggering it, finds Frazier when in doubt. Let the big man do the work.
Absolutely, especially if he's going to do that much work. And they went through about 4 different Virginia Tech defenders to get there, and that's just not good enough. You got to get shoulders into bodies, and you got to wrap the legs and put these guys on the ground. It's hard to do on day 3, as we see a pretty horrible restart kick from the halfway line, and Virginia Tech will get the benefit of a free kick from the midfield stripe there.
Andy Haskell is playing a sweeper. Last man goes 5'8", 175. He sees Frazier coming at 6'3", 225. You don't have to be a physics major to say this will probably end worse for Haskell. Unable to make the tackle, and now the score is 10-15. Northeastern on top by 5 as we come up on 2:20 to play in this one. We check in on the field with Marty Snyder.
Well, Todd, no matter what happens in this match, you have to give Jamie Green and Northeastern a lot of credit this year. They were determined to be better at the CRC this year, so that meant winter practice. In Boston, that doesn't work very well, so they found an indoor training facility. Problem is, it was 45 minutes away. The only slot they could get, 10 p.m. to midnight. But they practiced every day, 5 days a week, 10 p.m. to midnight. Now, some of these guys had 6 a.m. classes, so they were up at 5:30 in the morning after practicing. They have certainly put in the work, trying to prove it here in Philly.
Boy, the boys from Northeastern running a Naval Academy type schedule. Brian, you were at William & Mary, and let's talk about this as we listen in on the scrum. As soon as this is done, I'll get my question to you.
Back here, White.
So an infraction on the scrum, Brian. How often do the college facilities want to share with a rugby? If it's just a club team or club status, does a football team want to say, hey, we'll give up our indoor practice facility for you guys?
Yeah, I think they do, actually.
You got to come through.
And a lot of it depends on the dialogue that college rugby coaches are having with their athletic departments. And what we've seen since the CRC started, this event came on the scene, and people want to be in it. It's getting all that exposure that college rugby has never had before. And suddenly there is a dialogue between athletic departments and rugby teams. They're getting varsity weight rooms to train in. They're getting trainers, and they're getting nutrition help. And it's just been blown up the sport. It's been great.
Is it economics that drives it, though? Because you don't need a ton of money to outfit a Rugby 7 squad. Usually these teams about 12 kids and a staff, as opposed to football where you're looking at 100 plus.
I think finally colleges are waking up to the beauty of this sport. It's had some image issues in the past, but really a lot of that is just stereotype. And I tell you what, not only can these guys get after it on the field, but they're also some of the best students. You talk to Cal, they got the best GPA of any varsity program at the University of California. Dartmouth, they're taking exams all week. These guys from Northeastern are all engineers. Michigan's got a ton of them. It's been great to listen to their stories off the field, what they're doing at their universities.
Back to the action right now, 15-10 Northeastern looking for more. Knocking on the door, Diego Machiera out to the outside, numbers out there if he needs them. Can't pass it, he had a man in front of him, had to come back. And coming back is Brian Eustace. As the clock goes to 0, the try is awarded.
Good team rugby at the end by Northeastern. I thought they made a little bit of hard work of that try. Should have been a little bit easier to do, but the clock was at 0s anyways, and they had this one in the bag, and a great job by Jamie Green's men from Northeastern.
So a tough break for Craig Bucher, the head coach of Virginia Tech and his Hokies. I agree with what he told our Marty Snyder earlier, though. They have come a long way since last year's tournament.
Absolutely. And Virginia Tech, you know, these guys have nothing to be ashamed about. They certainly, for me, the most improved team at this tournament.
Full time.
So the game has gone final. It is the Huskies of Northeastern getting the victory 20-10 over the Hokies of Virginia Tech here in the plate semifinals. So one more game for the Huskies as they'll battle for the plate championship. And we've got more consolation rugby before we get to our final four. Coming up next, a great battle as Maryland goes head-to-head with Ohio State We'll have that when we return here from Philadelphia.
We're hoping to put Maryland on the map. Our team, in terms of being in the university, we don't get a lot of respect at our school, wearing the Maryland flag on our jersey. I think people will start to notice and they'll start to recognize what we do around the campus, what we do for the university in terms of representing them.
After the ball has gone out of bounds, a line out is a way to restart the game. The ball must travel 5 meters and travel down the center of a tunnel so that players from both teams may compete for possession of the ball. Go Bucks, 4-6. Ready. Yeah, my ball, my ball, my ball. Yeah, overs, 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 overs. Put down, put down, put down.
Another plate semifinal coming up between Maryland and the Ohio State. A lot of verbiage and terminology, a little bit confusing here at the CRC. But to help you out a little bit, here are the Ohio State Buckeyes.
After the ball has gone out of bounds, a line out is a way to restart the game. The ball must travel 5 meters and travel down the center of a tunnel so that players from both teams may compete for possession of the ball. Go Bucks, 4-6. Ready. Yeah, my ball, my ball, my ball. Yeah, overs, 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 overs. Put down, put down, put down.
Santino Kua, the guy you just saw, is the captain for Ohio State. Let's talk about what a tough matchup Maryland is for you guys.
Maryland's a tried and tested team. You know, it's going to take our best effort to be victorious today, but we hope to come out and set the physicality and set the breakdowns on the end, and hopefully we'll end up the winners today.
How do you guys feel like you've played so far in this tournament?
Things haven't gone the way we wanted to. We didn't get some, balls to bounce our way. We haven't finished when we needed to, but we're confident we can turn that around today and hopefully take home the plate.
And a win today would change all that, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, and they did lose to Michigan. That's what he was referring to yesterday. And he told me all we have to do is play more consistent in this match. We should win. Todd?
So this is the plate semifinal, consolation semifinal, whatever you want to call it, Brian, but there's still a lot to play for. It doesn't sound like the cup, but it's the plate, and this means points, it means exposure. These guys opting and looking for an opportunity to win this one and move on to play Northeastern for the plate championship.
It's Sunday. It's the last day, right? So it doesn't matter what you're playing for as long as you're still playing. And there's a lot of guys sitting around in the bleachers right now wishing they had one more time to run on the field with their teammates from their alma mater, for some of them the last time. So good on these guys for staying around and playing their guts out.
Got a good shot there of number 7, Matt Riley of Maryland. More on his story and his situation, but he is a gutsy rugby player. We'll have that as this game progresses. 2 7-minute halves, 7-on-7, no forward passing, no blocking. Other than that, how hard can you go for 14 straight minutes?
Yeah, and some of that is about conservation of energy, and sometimes there's moments on the field, and they're really momentary, but if you can get a breath of air then every little bit helps.
And we're underway, semifinal number 2. These are the plate semifinals. The winner of this one will meet Northeastern in the plate championship. Still to come, we will have the championship today as our final 4 is set. Again, it's a West Coast shootout in semi 1 between Cal and UCLA. And the other semifinal, it is Life University out of Marietta, Georgia, taking on Kutztown, which is just about 80 miles up the road here from Philadelphia.
Yeah, going to have some good ones later. These two teams, Maryland and Ohio State, you'll notice they make a few more mistakes than some of the teams at the top, and some of that's a skill level thing, and some of it's a fitness thing, and that all plays out on day 3, and it's a little bit more pronounced.
Brian, this can't be an athlete situation, because you think about the athletes that Ohio State can recruit in their football, basketball programs and other sports. They can get the athletes there. Is it just time on the pitch that gives them to the higher skill level?
Yeah, it takes a while. You know, and you think about any sport. Think about how many times a pitcher or a batter needs to see a fastball or a curveball before they can hit one. And that's the same kind of thing with rugby. How many repetitions do you need that you can make that perfect pass all the time without thinking about it when you're tired?
Into the corner, it was Taylor Herf, and he didn't get the downward pressure applied, and the ball rolls forward, so that is a knock-on. Big mistake there, as that would have been 5 points, but the ball now looks like it's going to go over to the Terrapins.
Yeah, and this is a big mistake here. Going across the line, you got to protect that ball, and he's already made his way across. You just got to protect it, squeeze that thing, and then place it down, and unfortunately for Herf,
crouch,
can't get it done.
Bind, set.
So a scrum for the Terrapins in dangerous territory. This might be a good time to kick it out.
Scrum.
So this ball will be a scrum. Now, by virtue of trapping Maryland in their own in-goal area, it'll be a scrum to Ohio State. Good pressure defense, and they'll get the ball back.
So no safety here, but at 5 meters, this should be a pretty easy situation, as we get an opportunity not only to listen to this scrum, but we're going to take you on board with rugby cam from our referee.
Bind. Set.
Ohio State resetting their offense. Aaron Thomas in the mix here, number 4. He forms the ruck.
Number 9, clear release first.
It's good tackle by Maryland, but he doesn't release the tackled player, and
Thomas cuts across, and we get our first try of the match.
That's how you do it. You squeeze it, you go across the line, you dot it down. Got the bowling ball frame there, number 4. Aaron Thomas for Ohio State, and he's hard once he starts getting a little momentum going forward.
Number 9, clear release first.
Here it is one more time.
Yeah, the quick tap, just draw a man, and then Thomas says, I can do the rest.
Power in those legs as Aaron Thomas, 5'8", 185-pound freshman at Gahanna, Ohio, nicknamed the Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch. A lot of kids here have no idea what Starsky and Hutch is. 2-point conversion, no good, so at 3:40 to play in the first half, it's the Buckeyes leading the Terrapins at 5-0. There's the reset. Herf gets it to the man with the speed.
Well, reaction time, you know, that's what happens on a penalty. You got to be able to get back quickly and then come forward quickly, and Maryland just a little bit slow on the draw there, leaves some space open for Aaron Thomas.
In the years we've been covering this event here in Philadelphia, Brian, you hear a lot of the guys talk about not only being a good athlete, but can you operate, can you function, can you make good decisions when you are completely gassed in the second half?
Offside.
There's a good break there by John Davis from Maryland, but an errant pass. He gets lucky, though, because Ohio State was offsides.
Cross forward into an
nice little stutter step.
That's a great break by Matthias Sima.
And Sima takes it in for the try. So Maryland answers right back. Sima 6'0", 205. The senior out of Buenos Aires, Argentina, takes it almost half the distance. Look at the quick restart and just one little waggle right there.
Yeah, great sidestep. And I tell you what, I talked to him earlier. He's going to take a 5th year at Maryland, and the reason is he wants to play with his little brother Ben, who just graduated from Gonzaga High School in the D.C. area. He said, I never played with Ben. I'm going to stick around. He said he'd even give up his position, fly half, for his little brother to see what he can do. So both of the Sima boys are going to be Terrapins next year.
Randy Edsel may want to take a look at that piece of tape, because that was a nice little stutter step, show him a little leg and take it away. Downward pressure applied. 2-point conversion is no good. But nice way to answer back after Ohio State went up 5-0.
Awesome.
Kicked almost into touch. It takes a fortuitous bounce for the Terrapins, and now they take over the ruck being formed.
What we always say is you got to put a name on the ball. So Ohio State's got to elect somebody. Somebody's got to put their hand up and say, I'm going to catch this ball in the air. Instead, they let it drop on the ground, and it's an unforgivable. You never let the ball drop on the ground from a restart kick, and Maryland gets it.
Mike Messina takes the behind-the-back pass, corrals it.
Back 10. Back 10. Wait.
Numbers on the outside. Oh, Brian Zapp, the referee, says
Make
too
sure
quick.
10 meters. Mark
Got to wait for
here.
Ohio State to back up their 10 meters, so Kenny Rothman will start it again. Ball tipped by his own man, and a host of Buckeyes there trying to poach the ball away.
Holding.
Holding on to the ball on the ground, and so Ohio State, good job playing some defense against their own goal line. And there's the Tribes going to score with a big fend-off. Ohio State got some room on the outside, but can't get out there.
Final 30 seconds of the first half here. Plate semifinal number 2. The winner will take on Northeastern in the plate final. Still to come, our championship round with Cal and UCLA in semi 1, Life University and Kutztown in semi 2.
Oh, great tackle by Sema coming up. And now it causes the turnover. Maryland going the other way.
Dangerous high.
Sometimes your arms just kind of slip off a tackle. You end up around someone's neck, and Ohio State guilty again.
So play continues on even though the clock is at 0, and Ohio State
advantage over.
Still has the opportunity to put 5 more on the board. You think about the distance these guys have covered in the first 7 minutes, and now we get extra rugby time, and they're kind of hoping, man, let's put this thing in the end. But if you're Ohio State, this is a golden opportunity to get 5, maybe 7 points.
Yeah, absolutely. All possessions are meaningful in 7, so you got to make the most of them.
Let go. Advantage red.
And notice as people get tired on a 7th pitch, they start to get a little bit more flat in attack. So when they get the ball on the pass, they're just don't have as much lethal speed coming forward.
Being able to run in support across the field is a tough one. You can see the folks at the bottom of the screen trying to catch their breaths, hands on hips, and Maryland takes this thing away.
Well, I like the mismatch. They can get the ball in the hands of Mike Messina out here on the corner wearing the number 12 jersey. He might be able to step around Santino Kua, but it's not going to happen. They're going to have to work the midfield.
Ruck.
And of all the rugby we've watched, Brian, have we ever had one that goes exactly 7 minutes? There's always extra playing time.
Numbers, but you can see the speed is just going out of the legs of these guys.
Nice good stiff arm. And just when it looked like Ohio State was going to take advantage of the extra time, it's Maryland that comes back and puts 5 more up.
Matt Sarna on the finish. Kind of painful, the amount of energy it took these guys, both teams, to finally get some points out of this. And Sarna finally on the receiving end of a nice pass, a good 2-on-1.
But you go back to John Davis, number 6 for Maryland. He was really the man that sacrificed his body, drew the defender in, boom, takes that hit, opens the door for Sarna.
Absolutely, you got to be selfless in this game. Davis executes a perfect 2-on-1.
So the conversion is good. Maryland takes the lead at half, 12-5. Well, our players were treated as Subway breakfast sandwiches this morning. Avocado season is back at Subway. Add rich, creamy avocado to any sub or salad, or you can even try it on your favorite breakfast sandwich. Subway, eat fresh.
$5 foot long.
You sing a little Kid Rock to me there, Hightower? Is that what you got a little Kid Rock in you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Dude, you bring it all.
Sample.
Our 3-4-5 defenders are struggling. You've got to work, all right? Don't keep it up.
We still got 2 minutes, boys. You want Taylor kicking it?
Taylor, well,
taking the kickoff.
Kickoffs and D.
Got it. I'm talking D. Wait.
If he tells you before that we're going to definitely do that, then I'll do it. But if it's like last second.
They're balanced. Hey, but that means flat defense, flat and hard, boys.
Still got a minute and a half, boys.
Make your tackles, make your tackles, make your tackles. Compress that defense and move it.
Compress it, boys. And you know what we bring? Give me depth. Give it back up, man.
Yeah, we're getting real shallow on offense, especially on the last couple. Let's get our outside guys coming at pace. So Danny Nolan at pace, Tino at pace, at pace, at pace.
Make them work this second half. Make them work.
All right, let's go. On you.
Was Riley born without? It's his lefty, isn't it?
Make your tackles, make your tackles, make your tackles. Compress that defense and move it.
Compress it, boys. And you know what we bring? Give me depth. Give it back up, man.
Yeah, we're getting real shallow on offense, especially on the last couple. Let's get our outside guys coming at pace.
For the other side of things, let's hear from Steve Lake, the head coach of Maryland. And what did you guys do well in that first half, Steve?
Not a lot, actually. I mean, but we got a little lucky with moving the ball. We want to move Ohio State around the park, get them moving side to side. If we can stretch them, I think we can score some more tries. We're running out of gas ourselves, and we're down a man, so we got one less reserve. That's going to hurt us, but we'll see.
What did you want them to work on in the second half?
Just they got to work harder defensively at 3, 4, and 5 in the middle of the field. We're seeing big gaps up here. If our middle defenders can work across, we can keep the pressure up.
And I see Matt Rowley has his warm-ups off. He's going to go in?
He'll be getting in.
All right, Matt Rowley will be in here in the second half, Todd.
I think that's going to be a running theme throughout the day until we crown a champion, Brian, of our guys are running out of gas and we're down a man or two, because on the third day of the CRC, that's not an uncommon theme.
Yeah, we've seen every year of this tournament, the deepest benches, the most complete teams are the ones who stick around long into Sunday.
So a line out now for the Terrapins as we get started in half number 2. They lead at 12-5.
Is that forward? Thank you. Scrum.
Unlucky
Lost
there.
Forward in the line out.
Maryland throws a pretty poor line out throw, but Ohio State knocks it on in the process.
Talk on defense, huh?
How come we're not seeing more of that Yankee torpedo that Pete Dawkins brought over to Oxford? The football pass down the middle.
You could,
right down the 15.
The law is the guy who's standing behind the line out can run in as soon as that ball leaves the hand. And so there's a really nice lob option off the top, but no one seems to be doing it.
Look at the speed on the outside. Mike Messina, get him free. And kid's a handful.
Well, Santino Kua, I thought Messina would be able to step him around the corner, but Santino Kua shows some pace of his own for a big man, number 8 for Ohio State. Nice defense, but there's Sema.
Matt Sarna keeps it alive. He gets thrown to the pitch, and he keeps his wits about him and throws a beautiful pass to the inside. Matthias Sema there to take it home.
Just a nice team try here, just using the width of the field and getting a mismatch. You got your big prop out there for Ohio State.
Now, was that a defensive breakdown by the Buckeyes, or is that just great play and following and support by Matthias Sema?
No, you look for those mismatches. You try to identify them, and sometimes you just get lucky. And there, you got a guy like Sema who plays in the forwards sometimes, but he's also got a great step and a good read of the game.
Here it is one more time as Sarna gets thrown down. Sema's there in support. And for more on Matthias Sema, let's check in with Marty.
And Todd, you got to give Matthias credit. Maryland was here 2 years ago in the CRC. They were not here last year. Matthias Sema was. He was a fan in the stands, and he said that motivated him the entire year. He called his coach Steve Lake as soon as he came back from the CRCs and said, we will be back there next year. I want to be a part of that once again. And he told me, I can still see it from my seat. The vision of Cal winning the championship, I wanted a shot at that again this year. His team made it, doing well in this game as well. well, Todd.
Yeah, that's some great drive, taking it from last year and sitting here. And despite some of the haters around PPL Park, I'm telling you, I'm kind of warming up to those Maryland uniforms.
You got to dig those things.
Come on.
Look at them. Wear the flag, boys.
Ohio State just unable to hold on to the ball, and
you know
looking
what?
to capitalize.
It's been the story of the Buckeyes all weekend, Todd. They just can't keep possession, and they turn it over too easily. Maryland's going to come back for a line out here.
So basically a try-saving kick into touch.
On you.
And again, we'll see if Maryland can execute this line out a little better than last time. Remember, it all starts with the man who throws it in. It'll be Josh Morotsky.
This game, there's already enough pressure on you from the other team. What you don't want to do is put pressure on yourself, and it just compounds the difficulty of the game. Speaking of difficulty, apparently the throw-in has been difficult for both teams, and Ohio State able to get it back.
Release.
That's us.
Ball's out. Ball's out. He's okay.
So Ohio State trying to mount some offense. They trail at 17-5 as we're under 3 minutes to go in this plate semifinal. The winner meets Northeastern in the plate final.
There's Kua with some depth, but he can't break that tackle. And number 10, James Bowman,
play on, forward.
Doing a pretty good job of defense there.
Just keep your feet, scrum to gold. Time off.
So stop and play. Time actually stopped one of the few times, and there you see number 7, Matt Riley, the senior from Glenwood, Maryland, born without the left forearm.
Number 1.
Don't tell him he can't go all out with the rest of these boys, and his teammates, they appreciate him.
Matt Riley is a phenomenal rugby player, and he's doing it with one less arm than everyone else.
The kid, I think, is a superhuman.
So I get a lot more attention than I probably should as a player because of it.
He has to work that much harder in order to do everything that he does.
If somebody is ever to underestimate me, I'd probably just stick it right to him.
I'll tell you what, he's got a big heart. He's got a big brain, too. I was talking to him about his summer plans. He works as a biomedical engineer for the NIH. He's getting a degree in materials engineering. I asked him what that was. He said, you know how you make stuff out of other stuff? And I said, that's about enough.
That's more than you needed?
Yeah.
Riley on the tackle, and Riley able to bring him down just short of midfield. Now, one of the rules in rugby is you've got to release the ball when you're tackled. And watch Riley making the most of it. Gets fended off, but gets a handful of Buckeye jersey. Brings him to the turf.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's what the guys love about him. And what makes him such a special athlete is that he'll figure out a way. You know, he's got his limitations, but, you know, it's not going to keep him from figuring out a way to get you on the ground and give you the business.
17-5, Maryland on top as we come up on a minute to play in this one. Ohio State needs something quick, and then on the restart kick, they're going to have to steal this one to take it away.
There goes Riley in with another big hit.
Knock on advantage.
There you go. How about that? The steal and the poach. That's equivalent to football's pick 6.
You take it all the way back to that hit from Riley, and maybe not with the ball, but he causes the quick dish, putting a hurting on those Ohio State Buckeyes.
22-5, Terps on top as the 2-point conversion is coming. And it just looks like Maryland has a little more, maybe a little deeper bench right now.
10 seconds.
Look at this again, the pickoff. Riley comes in, lays the wood, and that triggers this.
Yeah, knock on.
Advantage.
Just got to get those passes crisp, and when you got guys like Riley in your face playing defense, just hard to execute.
Kenny Rothman with the try, the junior from Baltimore, Maryland, and 22-5 with less than a minute to go.
Are we okay?
I want to remind you, coming up, the Bruins of UCLA and the defending champion Cal Bears get together in the Cup semifinal to determine an opportunity to play for the national title. The other semifinal will be Life and Kutztown. What are the chances we get the Pac-12 rivalry here in Philadelphia?
Not 10, advantage, red.
It should be a good one, too.
Yep.
Two completely different styles. You got the bruisers from Berkeley going up against some steppers from Westwood. Should be a compelling matchup.
The Cal Bears look so good, and just a few weeks ago here on NBCSN, you saw them play in 15s against BYU in the Varsity Cup. And I'm just wondering, do some of the players come out and play a little angry because they missed out on a national title in 15s, and here's their chance to repeat in 7s?
Well, their legacy is one of winning championships, and so yeah, every time they have a chance to win a title and they don't, it's a huge letdown for the California Golden Bears. But you know, 7s and 15s, kind of different sports to the guys from Cal, but this one means as much as a 15s title to them.
Kick it out of bounds into touch. Clock goes to 0, and Maryland victorious in plate semifinal number 2. So the Terrapins will take on Northeastern for the plate championship.
Hey, good job. Good game.
Ohio State is done, and disappointment for them. Not only do they not make it into the Cup or the plate championship, but they lose out against Michigan. That one may hurt most of all.
Great weekend for both of these teams, though. Maryland moves on.
Customary handshake as Northeastern and Maryland will do battle. Coming up, we move to the Cup, the Final Four of the Elite here at the CRC, as the Cal Bears and their head man Jack Clark going through their final preparations. It's a Pac-12 rivalry renewed. It's a perennial power Cal taking on conference rival UCLA.
Cal's a flagship program for collegiate rugby in this country, and teams play their best rugby against us.
There's nothing like playing Cal, man. You need no extra motivation.
We have a pretty proud history and a pretty strong winning tradition.
You just look across and you see those colors, and I mean, if that doesn't get your adrenaline going, then nothing will.
You know, each and every time out, you know, somebody wants our scalp, but it brings out the best in us.
Seamus Kelly, he has just all the skills that you need to be a good rugby player. You call him famous Seamus.
He ticks all the boxes. He's very, very good with the ball in his hand. He's compact, he's strong, he's calm. He also has the ability to be a good ball handler, to make space for other people, and he's a very good defender.
He works really, really hard off the field, and you can see on the field that he leads that Cal team by example.
He's been a really, iconic figure and a real pleasure to coach.
All right, kids, A-game time. Just about set for semifinal number 1 in the Cup. On the left of your screen, the captain of the Cal Bears. That is Seamus Kelly, simply known as Famous Seamus.
He has just all the skills that you need to be a good rugby player. He called him famous Seamus.
He ticks all the boxes. He's very, very good with the ball in his hand.
He's compact, he's strong, he's calm.
He also has the ability to be a good ball handler, to make space for other people, and he's a very good defender.
He works really, really hard off the field, and you can see on the field that he leads that Cal team by example.
He's been a really, iconic figure, and a real pleasure to coach.
So Seamus Kelly is the man on the field for the Cal Bears, that man that leads the program, Jack Clark, and he's standing by with Marty Snyder.
Hall of Famer, he'll be inducted next week. Jack, let's talk about playing UCLA. Advantage or disadvantage to play a team that you know so well?
A lot of familiarity, but we have a lot of respect for them. Sister school, want them to do well in almost every game they play.
How about this, and how about how the guys feel? Describe their mode right now.
Yeah, we're just trying to advance. This is the business end of the tournament. You just got to click off a couple victories. I think both teams just want to get to the final at this point.
God, a moment ago, Jack told me the thing I feel best about, we've played better every match of this tournament. I feel really confident right now.
So it will be the Cal Bears, the defending champions here at the CRC, taking on Pac-12 rivals UCLA and their head coach Scott Stewart. Remember, UCLA lost in the semis last year to Cal, so a same situation as we saw in 2013. You got to think there's a redemption side, a little bit of payback for the Bruins. But for Cal, anytime you play them, Brian, you know you're going to get your opponent's best game because they are the gold standard.
And they both have some great athletes on the field.
Go for the ball.
Alec Gletzer wearing the #1 jersey for the Cal Bears. Keep an eye on him because he might not be scoring a bunch of tries, but he is the grinder. Absolute physical force out there in the breakdown area.
UCLA in the white. Nice piece of running there by Pierre Coupron.
You're watching the quarterfinals. Cal gave up a few penalties and a few turnovers that were kind of uncharacteristic, so they're going to have to cut those mistakes out in order to stay in front of these Bruins.
Grant Penny, one of the smaller players on the field, goes 5'4", 135 pounds, but he plays like a giant.
And that was an example of the power of Seamus Kelly. Just bulldozes through that ruck to win a ball for Cal. It's a turnover.
Tackler out.
Notice Gletzer in the right position. Looked like UCLA came in from the side, but Cal able to recycle it.
Brian, is this a case against the Cal Bears being the more physical, larger team, more power, and the speed and finesse of UCLA?
Well, I don't know. There's some pretty big dudes who can rumble with these Cal forwards as well. Sam Sorrell for UCLA. He's wearing the #7.
On it there.
And there you see UCLA's road to the semifinals. Penn State, South Carolina, Northeastern, and Dartmouth in the Dartmouth game. That was a tough one. Dartmouth has won this tournament 2 times as the ball is kicked into touch.
That's a great play there by Ben Francis to get a nice little nudge deep inside Cal territory. Confidence in their set piece, so they'll go to the line out and throwing that ball in. Little Grant Penny.
Grant Penny might be the CRC's version of the Pocket Hercules, because last year he came here, didn't look as big, but he didn't have the hair or the beard, and here he is now looking like Grizzly Adams, but bulked up. Seb Sharp.
It looked like Coach Clark down on the sideline trying to help the referee out with his whistle, said that was a knock-on. He was right.
Scrum blue.
So here's the first scrum of the match, and we will let you listen in on the commands.
Bind across from you, full fisted jersey.
Jackson quickly left.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Down.
Perfectly executed by the Cal Bears. No score so far, 7-minute halves as we approach 4 minutes to go in this one.
Defense has really been the signature for UCLA this weekend. Cal's been missing the occasional tackle or two, uncharacteristic.
Gletzer on the outside, one man to beat is Grant Penny, and Penny with a sure open field tackle makes it happen. Seamus Kelly now triggering the offense for the Bears. Right up the middle.
Russell Webb normally plays fly half for the Cal Bears, and Bosco wears the 9 jersey, but they've switched.
Bruins take this one away, reset the offense.
way out to Ben Francis. He's going to work against Jake Anderson. A good little step, but he's got to get support. Good tackle by Bosco on Sorrell coming through.
It's over.
Gletzer looking at the teeth of this defense.
Oh,
great open field tackle by Jack Welch.
Just lost forward. There wasn't a ruck. Your pickup was fine. Just lost forward.
How about this tackle?
Jackson Welch here just leans in, commits himself.
Stuff.
So a chance for everyone to catch their breath. It'll be a scrum now to the Cal Bears.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
When in doubt, get the ball to Seamus Kelly.
Good stiff arm by Anderson, and he keeps his feet.
And the first try of the match goes to the Cal Bears.
Jake Anderson's been on the radar for some national team exposure, both in 7s and 15s. He's just got a big body, and he moves it really well through the gap here. And then just a stiff arm, he gets his feet back under him, and a good defensive effort by UCLA, but he's stretched. And there's Seamus Kelly's parents. There's John, his dad, hand in the air, and a little bit of relief on the face of John Kelly.
And they've been busy folks traveling the country. Seamus's brother graduated from Florida State just a few weeks ago when he was out in Salt Lake City playing in the Varsity Cup, the 15s against BYU. So it's Cal on top 5-0 with 1:42 to play in the first half as we check in with Marty.
Well, Todd, it's bittersweet for the Kelly family. Obviously, Seamus playing in his final day for Cal. They're hoping it winds up with a championship. John, the dad, Janine, the mom, and how tough is all this to watch his final match, or final day, I should say?
I know. We try not to think about it too much. You know, we just had such a great run at Cal here. You know, the whole experience has been amazing. The families we've met, you know, the team, the coaches, everything has just been so special. And, you know, but all good things, great things come to an end, unfortunately.
Yeah, Janine, earlier, he got emotional when he was talking to me about it.
He does. He's very emotional about it. You know, this is a very stressful game, and it's his last Cal game, so we're hoping for the best here.
We're hoping it's not his last Cal game, but it is definitely his last day in a Cal uniform. I asked Seamus what he thought about it. He said, I can't treat it any different. I just have to focus on it like it's another game, guys.
You know the folks that aren't upset about this being the last day for Seamus Kelly in the Cal jersey?
Any other parent of any other team. Yeah. Well, those Kelly folks, they were driving back up from their other son's graduation from Florida State. There's Sam Sorrell in the open field. Great defense there.
Run in support, and that's how you do it for the Bruins.
That's Seb Sharp going over. He's excited about it, and there's some people who traveled from Westwood here. There's a little Cal UCLA section, I should say, right below us.
Good things happen, Brian, when you follow the ball runner. And Seb Sharp, number 12, the young man out of London, England, on the spot. So Sharp picking up his 4th try of the tournament. 2-point conversion comes straight out as the clock goes to 0.
Huge conversion, but just goes wide. Locked up at 5.
So the first half has come to a conclusion here in the Cup semifinals, and it is all even. The Golden Bears of Cal strike first. UCLA answers back. We're all tied up at 5, and Grant Penny for UCLA, maybe the smallest man on the field, but playing with the biggest heart.
I've never seen anyone in my entire life work so hard for anything than Grant Penny does for rugby.
He plays big. He's not the tallest guy. Starting much lower than everybody else in contact helps make up for the fact that I'm 50 pounds lighter than the next lightest guy.
Grant's going to do everything he can to bring you down. And there's no way I'd fight him, so I don't know.
You know, a lot of times people just don't see me. You got to use every advantage you got.
Does David seem a little tight to you? Just, I mean,
no.
Little tight?
Hey guys, if I don't get to some Grant Penny storytelling here, just so you know, he was the one who spoke in the huddle right there. And the one thing he said that was interesting, it says, guys, we know we have the better bench. Once we get to the bench, this game is ours. So
yeah, that's good
run
stuff.
with that.
Do we don't have that on tape, do we? Or
no, he wasn't wearing a mic. So
let's have Marty report that. That's good goods.
Well, we have a boom mic on the camera, but I don't know if he picked it up.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm going the opposite way. I'm gonna send you a picture tomorrow.
Let's go, boys. We're dominating this game. Don't be afraid to run. Lads, let's get the ball from this kickoff, keep it, and finish this game. Yeah. That's it. Okay? That's all you gotta do. This game. Let's keep possession. Get the ball. We'll tire them out. We're gonna finish this game. We're playing better. Hey, now let's capitalize. We know we have the better bench. All right, so when you guys come in, that's it. That's it. That's when we. Hey, we got it where we want it, guys. We got 7 minutes to play. They've missed more tackles than we have. Yeah. Let's go. Boys, we're dominating this game. Don't be afraid to run. Lads, let's get the ball from this kickoff, keep it, and finish this game. Yeah. That's it. Okay? That's all you got to do. This game. Let's keep possession. Get the ball, we'll tire them out, we're going to finish this game. We're playing better. Hey, now let's capitalize. We know we have the better bench. Wait for me.
So Grant Penny and his lads talking there at halftime, feeling like they have the better bench. And I almost didn't recognize Grant when we first got here because I don't know if he's gone to the witness protection program or what, but he's gone with the Grizzly Adams look.
Yeah, it looks like like a little leprechaun.
Remember this last year? Whoop!
Yeah, Jake Anderson just doing the hurdle. Remember that well.
Yeah, Jake 6'3", and Grant Penny checking in at a very robust 5'5".
Also during the halftime huddle, Grant Penny said to his boys, we have the better bench. Just remember that. They got aces in the hole, so thinks Grant Penny, and he's right. They do have some great players on the bench. A nice kick laid down.
Oh, ball knocked into touch, and so a little mistake there by Cal. So it'll be a line out to the Bruins as we check in on the field with Marty.
Todd, I can answer the hair question. It was from the last time they lost to Cal in Rugby Sevens. But Grant remembers this game last year, exactly 1 year ago today, where he lost in the semifinals to Cal. The deciding try in that game was the one we saw earlier, where Jake Anderson literally hurdled Grant Penny. In fact, it motivates him so much that he made it the wallpaper of his cell phone. And he looks at it every day. He said, when I wake up at 4:30 every day, that's why I wake up at 4:30 day, for another shot at Cal.
Well, there's the same situation right there. Penny, last man, trips him up just enough for the help to come and stop Cal's onslaught, which looked like it was on its way to a 5-point try.
Great commitment by the UCLA defense. Sam Sorrell getting back, but it's Battaglia on the corner.
Tackle release.
And I got to agree with Seb Sharp in that huddle. They are playing better defense than Cal. The question is, can they get possessions?
Outside, 12 white.
Oh, great skip pass there by Harrington.
Wow. Just a drive to get across, and another try, and who else? Famous Seamus Kelly.
Brad Harrington just puts the ball on the money there.
Are you a kicker?
Oof. Great run by Kelly. So hard to get the momentum stopped on a trunk that big.
Yeah, Seamus Kelly, not a small man, 5'10", 200 pounds, and he was a standout football player in the New York area before he went out to Cal and decided to go full-time in rugby. But he is a well-put-together young man on the rugby pitch.
A lot of rugby left for Seamus Kelly. Actually gets on a plane tomorrow morning, flies to Denver for the United States Eagles Assembly. That's going to be playing against Scotland next weekend in Houston.
Time is on.
10-5, Cal on top of UCLA. The winner of this one goes to the championship match. Cal, your defending national champions, winning this tournament last year.
Well, checking in for UCLA, one of those bench players that Penny was talking about, Liam Barry. According to their coach, Scott Stewart, he's got the best feet on this team. Very elusive runner, just doesn't look like an athlete.
Cal looking to open this thing up. Another great pass to the outside. The speed is there, and the Bears will go in for 5 more. You talk about big men that can run. Jake Anderson, 6'2", 194 from Tiburon, California. He can certainly fill that role.
Well, one of the things that Cal does, I think, as good as any, if not better team than in the tournament, is to draw defenders in, create those overlaps. If you got to use extra guys on defense to tackle a player, an individual player, then there's going to be an overlap, and that's exactly what happens there.
Anderson's second try of the game, 2-point conversion, missed to the right. You look at it again, set this up. Watch Jake Anderson.
Just another great pass there.
Similar to basketball, you watch the Miami Heat, they make the extra pass and you find a guy wide open.
Yeah, and that Russell Webb on the passing end of that ball. Nice and crisp, right in the hands.
So definite go time for the Bruins. It's a one-on-one situation at midfield.
For Seb Sharp.
And Seb Sharp breaks the tackle, but does he have enough gas to get in for the try? Goes for the angle, and it looked like the downward pressure was applied. Now this is an opportunity for the official to talk to the sidelines judge. He's got this thing right.
Yeah, he's going to bring the in-goal referee and the assistant referee in to see if there was a clear grounding.
He was blocked by bodies. Did you see him grounding originally? Yeah, good grounding. Grounding on the line, and then it was held up. Grounding before it was held up. Thank you.
So the in-goal referee sees the obvious grounding that was blocked. You could hear the assistant referee say, I couldn't see it. There were bodies here. That's a tough call. Paul Bosco does a great job of getting under that ball. Seb Sharp, I think there was grounding.
Initially, it looked like it was right on the line.
Close.
Yeah. So you're going to make one move, and he makes the one move, basically rolls over and gets a touch.
Any part of that ball touches the ground and isn't held up, it's a try, and I think Sharp gets that one. Great defensive effort by Paul Bosco.
Legs are certainly heavy here as a 2-point conversion. No good. This is a lot of running here. Remember, this is a sprint there and right.
Yeah, I think he's got it down.
Yep.
It's just got to touch. Just got to touch one blade of grass.
Oh, just picked off in the air. It went the 10 meters, and UCLA has found new life, trailing by 5.
Great play. It looked like Jackson Welch going up for that ball.
Oh, and he breaks free of the tackle.
Well, we talked about his feet. That's Liam Berry, and he said, the coach said he was dangerous, and that's why. Just a little dart, a twist. And the rare thing about this Cal team that I've seen this weekend is they've missed some tackles where their defense should have more shape.
10 seconds.
Some of that's just communication. You got to link up and you got to form that wall.
And the great news, the downward pressure applied right behind the post, so it comes straight out. Easy conversion. Look at this pickoff.
Well, it all starts in the air, and you know that's Gletzer's got to go up, and he's got to take that ball at the highest point. Watch Barry with the feet. Oh, just a little shimmy shake. And how surprising is that? Because on the business end of that tackle was Seamus Kelly.
Scott Stewart pretty happy with those results, and just like that, 12 points scored in less than a minute. So you can see just how quick Rugby Sevens can turn. It looked like Cal had this thing under control, leading 15-5, and now with less than a minute to play, they trail by 2, 17-15.
Mistake off the kickoff. Kelly with the restart from halfway. Cal must score.
Oh my, what a pass. What speed, and just like that, the Bears are back.
Well, and same thing is the defense has to get some shape to it, and they just left a huge gap for Battaglia to run straight through it. Jack Clark's thinking the luck of this Irishman.
Andrew Battaglia with a full head of steam. The offload from Kelly. Grant Penny there has a terrible angle on him. No shot.
You got to stay connected on defense.
How big is this 2-point conversion? And he pushes it left. So a try with 34 seconds would put UCLA back in front and into the championship. I mean, look at this, Battaglia.
Yeah, he's got some serious jets. He's been playing on the wing for their 15s team.
Play the ball.
Been in this tournament a couple times.
Away, Blue.
UCLA had to have that restart.
2017, under 20 seconds to play in this one. Can the Bruins mount a comeback and get into the championship, or will it be Cal yet again?
Ball's not held, the player's not held, so he gets back up, and he got lucky there. George Birch.
Neil Berry once again doing some damage.
Well, this ball's going to be stolen by Seamus Kelly. Kelly does a great job there. He kills any chance that UCLA had. Liam Berry was isolated and alone.
And Cal will get it as they kick it into touch. What a finish for the Cal Bears. Just when it looked like UCLA was going to dethrone the champs, Cal comes back with Battaglia doing the honors as we send it down to the field in Marty.
An exhausted Seamus Kelly extends his Cal career by one more game. Tell me about that last minute of the match.
Yeah, I think we just trusted our skills, trusted the fitness, all the hard work we put in. I never really panicked when the guys came through.
Tell me about stealing that one right there at the very end.
I consider that a strength of my game, and when the pressure's on at the end like that, you need to make a play for the team. So.
You say you were never worried. Were you not worried when they put up 12 points in just a matter of a minute?
You can't afford to be worried. That's how you have mental lapses. And, you know, with all the work we put in, I think we were fine.
Famous Seamus. Cal will play for the championship once again, Todd.
So the Cal Bears are back where they were a year ago, and they get it by way of going through UCLA. Well, it's a big question. Who is and what is life? They get set for semifinal number 2, where they will take on Kutztown. We might need their help in answering the question. Really, what is life?
Life. That's the small school no one really knows about. I don't mind, you know, going out there with a little chip on our shoulder.
They're incredibly physical. They have a lot of size, a lot of great skilled players.
We treat rugby as our primary sport. They bring a level of physicality and commitment to sevens. And we always talk about shaking hands and kissing babies and doing whatever we can whenever we get the opportunity to build awareness.
Wow, I thought UCLA was going to get it done. Battaglia, holy smokes. Bruins. How you feeling there, BH?
Good, Bubba. Good stuff so far?
Good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I was about to say, why isn't Seamus Kelly flying out tonight? Because I know a guy that's catching an 8:55 to Denver.
I'm telling you what. Well, didn't want it bad enough. He's going to party. You know how Seamus does.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, at the Irish pub.
Dude, that's like tradition for us. We go to the Irish pub on Sunday night, and you leave me hanging. You know, if I end up at Wendy's because of you.
Being South African, you have this unique connection. We have a little bit of a link that you can't describe, really.
Just the way we play, the way we communicate with each other, the way we know where each person's going to be.
It's really hard to teach that. It's really hard to describe it, like I said. But it definitely is an advantage, and one that we utilize a lot.
Being South African, you have this unique connection.
We have a little bit of a link that you can't describe, really.
Just the way we play, the way we communicate with each other, the way we know where each person's going to be.
It's really hard to teach that. It's really hard to describe it, like I said. But it definitely is an advantage, and one that we utilize a lot.
Two key players for Kutztown, small school just north of Philadelphia with a big rugby program, and their South African connection of Mike Lawrenson and Nico Kruger. This is semifinal number 2, the right to play the Cal Bears for the championship. Life University, Kutztown, and Life's head man is standing by with Marty Snyder.
Well, and Life and Kutztown actually very similar teams. So Dan Payne, does that make it a tougher matchup for you guys then because they play a similar style?
No, I think when you get to this level of the day and this level of the competition, they're all tough matchups. You have to execute your game plan and try to, minimize your errors.
Your point of emphasis has been defense for your guys. How key will that be in this match?
Well, it's key in every single match, but especially against a team that loves to come and confront you physically like they do, and they're very direct in the way they approach the game. You have to step up and defend them.
Two big, physical, quick teams. This one should be fun, Todd.
Yeah, playing off of what Marty just said, Brian, I think these, throughout the last 3 days of the tournament, these are, no question, the two most physical programs that we've seen here on the pitch.
Kutztown's earned a reputation as well for, a little bit of action off of the ball and maybe some poor sportsmanship, and they'll rattle people's cages, and they'll get in your heads a little bit, and they've done that to a few of the teams so far. So Life is going to have to keep their discipline if that occurs.
Big Michael Lawrenson goes 6'7", 245. He wears the 8 jerseys, so on those restart kicks, he really doesn't have to have much of a jumping ability to get up there and bring that one to the ground.
Well, the bad news for Kutztown is one of their best finishers, Alex Faison-Donahoe, broke his arm yesterday, and so he's out.
The speedster from Portland, Oregon, with a broken bone in the forearm. They say it may be the broken wrist, but he's just in the field of play. Had injured it earlier in the tournament, went to throw the ball, and we could hear him yell out from up here in our broadcast booth. Ball goes into touch, so we'll have our first line out of semifinal number 2 to Kutztown. Kruger triggering the offense for the Golden Bears. So with California already into the championship, Brian, the Bears are going to be watching this matchup closely. Last year, it was Life University and Cal for the title. This year, it could be the Golden Bears versus the Golden Bears.
Oh, good hit by Bruce Dolan coming up. Oh, very physical, but Jake McFadden does a good job staying on his feet. Joe Cowley finds some open field.
Joe Cowley, one of those special rugby players, big man with some speed as he goes far to the outside, and that's Paris Hollis. Talking about speed and physicality.
Numbers for... Wow. Oh, and Cowley's in support. Hollis is going to finish this one. Well, I tell you what, he was lined up on the sideline. He was all but wrapped up, and I thought he was going to be tackled, but just so strong. Look at that beast. He's put on some weight over this last year, and he's gotten leaner. Just a mountain of a man, and a great skip-out pass by Joe Cowley. Hollis does a great job to collect it and basically dares Kutztown to bring him to the ground. They can't do it. Look at the big man sidestep the sweeper.
Paris Hollis out of Charlotte, North Carolina, 6'1", 220. Two-point conversion is pushed well to the left by Joe Cowley, so it is Life 5. Kutztown 0 with 4:30 now to play in the first half.
Cowley is a special player, and most of the good stuff that happens on this Life team goes through the hands of Cowley. Just a great head about him and skillful. Big, huge left-hand pass out to the wing there.
And look at Cowley running in support of Paris Hollis if he needed to offload it. Didn't need it, does the work himself. Here's the restart kick once again. Why you kicked to Lawrenson, I don't know. At 6'7", no one can really challenge him.
Oh, it's a great job by Harley Davidson.
Off your feet.
Unfortunately loses his feet.
So the Golden Bears catch a break there. Kruger now doing the work. Looking for the support. They'll come to the bottom of your screen. With speed.
Oh, Davidson with another nice tackle.
Play on.
Fedekina Malafu trying to get that one in. Kutztown maintains possession.
Wearing the number 4 for Life is Hiko Malu. Came over from Sacramento.
Side entry, number 2.
He's a special player, one to watch for.
Glenn Maricelli trying to take it away. Called for the side entry as we check in the party section. That's where we find Marty.
Hey, Todd, I think I heard you toss it to me. I'm not sure, but Life sold out their 300 tickets in about 30 minutes. There's about 900 people here from Life, and they are loud. Trust me, they don't shut up all day long, which is a good thing if you're a Life fan. What's the best cheer?
Give me life or give me death.
All right, let's do it. Go ahead.
Give me life or give me death. Give me life or give me death.
I think you can hear them, can't you, Todd?
No question about it.
You can hear these guys.
Nice of Marty to color coordinate his shirt with the Life University squad.
Wait.
Back to live action here. Look at this. Oh, and across the line, Kruger with the try for the Golden Bears.
That is just smart rugby by Kutztown. If you got a bunch of bigs, the rolling maul from the line out. Check this out.
Wait.
There's Kruger. The drive is on.